Hello, everybody. Happy New Year 2022. What exactly does that mean? In our real life light bodies, there is no time, there are no dates, there are no beginning and endings of a year. But for calendar's sake, let's take it for what it is. So, really, today is a day that starts a brand new year, which in this case is 365 days. One just ended yesterday, a new one begins today. And what does everybody do? New resolution. Things are going to be different. I'm getting on all that diet and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And 9 times out of 10, people don't succeed because they put their thoughts and their intentions way up over the hill and the mountain, not taking into account that they're going to need to bob, weave, adjust, and adapt to what is happening each day. So I would suggest that we take resolutions and be fully present in the moment of each day and decide, how do I feel right now? What information am I filtering in and out? What vibe am I giving off? What vibes do I want to receive? What vibes would I like to give out? But how do I really feel right now in this moment? Like, do I want this particular food today? And so that we don't set ourselves up for failure by staying in the minute of the hour or within a few hour time frame. And then each time we're about to take an action, we check in with ourselves. How do I feel today? Do I want this particular food or drink? Do I want to be around this particular social or store or circumstances? It doesn't matter what it is. It just has you consciously be in that second where you're making a decision based on that moment to take you into a better moment versus mindlessness. So I wanted to tell you a little story. I went to a bonfire last night, and I was around people much younger than I, but many had teenage kids. And so we're out of the bonfire, and one of the kids snuck some alcohol in a drink. And Mama, little sister, came out and told Mama. Mama went in, and all you could hear was screaming and yelling. And then you heard another Mama go in, and you heard more screaming and yelling. And basically it was this screaming match. And then the teenager was yelling and screaming back, and then trying to throw everybody else under the bus for previously drinking alcohol and other things, and really just deferring and deflecting from, her own guilt. But when we approach people when they know they've done something wrong, or it doesn't matter, and someone is yelling, several things occur. You get heightened to defend yourself. And then you find yourself saying and doing things that maybe you wouldn't have done if the voices were lower. The same with the person who is actually doing the yelling. Stuff comes out of their mouth that they can't take back, right? So after that had calmed down, I think the father went in and had the daughter in the room for like hours while the adults were outside and the kids were doing whatever. And then outside, I could hear the sister to the mother whose daughter had snuck a drink saying, well, kids are going to do what you do. They do what you do, because you do that, and you do that. And she went on for like hours while this mom was like just trying to enjoy an evening and didn't really want to fight back with her sister that she doesn't see very often, I guess is older and has older children. So she was just like, But I couldn't intervene, because what I wanted to say is, children will do as you do, not as you say, when they're smaller, absolutely. But there comes a point in time where children are growing towards that age where they're making decisions on their own and being prepared to go out on their own, where they have to take responsibility for the decisions that they make. And just because a parent does something, they have to know the difference between what a parent can do and what someone in what I want to call child, which is birth to 20 to me is a child. And so, anywho, that was going on, but I just kind of had to ignore it. And, when children do something wrong, and then you approach them with the screaming and the hollering, or fists are flying, and you think it's a spanking when it's actually an outburst of abuse. It's abusive to just lash out with your fist and claim that you have the right to give that child a beating or a spanking, because there's a very big difference between spanking and structural spanking and just lashing out. Okay, because you're teaching the child then to lash back out when they get angry. So the yelling situations resolve nothing except for vocal cord exhaustion. I mean, seriously. But when kids do something wrong, lots of times it's because they're looking for attention in one way or another. And so you've given them attention with your screaming and your hollering and fist flying or whatever it may be. They've gotten your attention some way. Now, I come from the philosophy is I don't reward bad behavior. So you don't get me. And so I will wait till things diffuse and then have a conversation about it. Because my thinking is I want children of all ages to reflect upon what has occurred, to reflect upon it, and maybe come up with a plan of how not to do that again because it wasn't in their best interest or whatever it was. I don't want them in recuperation. I don't want them recuperating, because everything is a lesson, right? So when you've got a kid backed in the corner screaming and yelling, they're basically shutting down. They're not getting the lesson. They're just trying to get away from the flames, really. And so the lesson really doesn't sink in and learn, except for, oh, won't do that again in front of them, kind of thing. And it's also a thing where the parent can talk about the trust issues. Well, if you did this in my house, then I can't trust you to be out in one of my vehicles with your friends somewhere else. Therefore, that is not something you're going to be able to do until we talk about this trust issue. And then they learn to go inside and learn what trust means and the responsibility of that. So again, it really boils down to reactions are creating recuperation time for parent and child versus taking a step back and then parent reflecting a little bit and the child reflecting a little bit. And so you really want the children to go within and say, now how would I do that differently so the outcome is for my highest good, not so devastating? Okay? And so this is how we're teaching children to become responsible adults, to think, to feel, to connect with their breath, to make a decision before they make a reactionary something that's going to get them in huge hot water and then have reactions around them. So it's kind of my thought for today is all of us really learning to just be in the moment and to take stock of what's happening in the moment before we decide how we're going to walk, how we're going to talk, how we're going to eat, what we're going to drink, what vibrations we'd like to put out, what vibrations we'd like to receive, etc. And so this puts us in our conscious mind, but it also puts us in our heart centers. And so when we're in our heart centers, we're in a more relaxed, parasympathetic nervous system, where creativity juices and cascade of beautiful endorphins and hormones are running through our body, versus this fight or flight sympathetic nervous system of just getting through the day and surviving and reactionary. So not only is your physical organs going to really appreciate you for this, everything's going to appreciate you for this. And then the harmony of your house begins to balance out. Because I can promise you, when you start all the screaming and yelling and reactionary things, next thing you know, your kids are teenagers and they're acting just like you. So never say it's too late to start over. And if today is a day that you're beginning to look at resolutions, look at the resolution of your own constitution and your own personality or your own characteristics, and how you would like to tweak them to be and become better within yourself, setting the example and the tone and the barometer of your own physical, energetic well-being, but that of those around you, and then encompassed in the brick and mortar or the home of which you live, and that exudes out. And then when situations come up and you may find yourself bubbling up with an old pattern, you're already been flowing in this cascade of great hormones, breathing, being in your heart, conscious thinking. You're eating maybe a little healthier because you're thinking. And so maybe these reactions won't be so fiery, and you can catch yourself before it's a runaway train. So just breathe with that today and really think about what it is that you want to do moving forward. What is it that your burning desires are to be the best that you can be, and have the people around you be the best that they can be, because like attracts like, and you birds of a feather flock together. So if you look around at the birds you're hanging out with, and you're realizing that your inner flames are changing, and you're not harmonizing or in balance with what it is that you're around, you're going to need to step away from that. That takes courage to take action. And then it takes due diligence and discipline to continue that. And then you'll recognize it very quickly when you're amongst strangers or other people. What is the barometer? What's the temperature around here? Is it vibing with me? Or do I have to work really hard to douse everybody with all this? And that's going to happen too. But get yourself stronger and more in tune, so you have these innate abilities that are your God-gift talents. They're there, right? They're your sensory systems. And so that you can forecast before you enter. And then you can adjust the weather the best that you can within that situation, or you don't go into it. So that's how you make change within the change from within yourself. And it starts with me, and it starts with you. You'll be surprised what cascades out, and you'll be surprised. You may not hang around the same people anymore, say the same things, or watch the same things, or read the same things, or listen to the same things. That's okay. That means your inner and outer growing, and that's what this life is all about. It's the growth. You'll go through spurts, and then you'll be plateaued, and then you'll go through another spurt. That's what it's about. But be the best that you can be. Keep your feet firmly on the ground and just really connect in with the love grids and feed those love grids. Don't just take from them. And you know how I feel about that in nature. Don't go out in nature and leave your shiat out there. Blend it, dissolve it, feed it, release it, let it go. Don't leave it stuck on a tree or on a rock or on the ground for someone else to walk by and pick up your stuff that you don't know how to handle. So don't misuse and mistreat Mother Nature. Okay? She's there to work with you, not on your behalf, with you, because you've got to work with her, just like you do with elbow to elbow people that you're with all day long. So find that place of harmony. Get right there. And if you need any coaching, if you want to look into how to connect better with your soul, how to find yourself, all those kinds of things, it's what I do. All right? My website's in the description. In the meantime, please love me enough to like, hit the notification bell to subscribe, hit all, please, share me, and then leave me a nice message. All right? Enjoy this first new day of a new year, of a new calendar. Make each day. You have 365 days, and you have way more than 365 chances to make it a better day. Not just for yourself, but for everything around you. Everything around you. All right, look at your hands as an extension of the God source heart. So everything that you do, everything that you touch is enhanced and infused with love. All right?